talk about something entirely different.
Sure.
No, I just finished my first semester.
Your first semester.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about something entirely different.
I'm trying to remember our last conversation. I'm going to do a quick sound check. Hopefully you can hear us on the other end. We'll get started in just a couple moments. Let us know if you can't hear for some reason, and feel free to use the chat box with any questions.
This is what we're talking about. Yeah, not 100% positive win, but worst case it'll be January.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just we want to make sure that we're geared up and ready before we start.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and we're actually doing our focus on the ESPN, the early start member model, which isn't less at all. So there is going to be kind of a training process that goes along with it. So when we talk to her, we want to make sure that we get something for the semester. This is what she had. She said, I mean, it's case by case, but she had an issue. We don't want to just train somebody at the entire time.
And either, I don't know.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's really great. We're going to do a here and there to do observation, to be partnered with other people in the community as well. So it won't just be for the autism program. We are going to try to collaborate and run it out. We're excited about it.
Great.
Well, when you guys were talking kind of low, the person was saying they can sort of hear, but I explained it. You guys were talking.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. We're Fran with UDB, talking a little bit about starting and building a private practice. My name is Aisha Gorn. I manage career services, and we're happy to have you join us online or in person. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Seth. Hopefully you can hear us online. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box, and we will do our best to ensure that we answer all of your questions either throughout or certainly towards the end. Seth, thank you very much for joining us.
Great, thank you. Like Aisha said, my name is Seth. I'm the founder founder of Urban Brain and Body and all that goes with that. We are a wellness clinic located here in Chicago. We focus on mental health and the preventative and crisis care with the mental health aspect. I founded it in 2012. We also expanded to a wellness network that unites different wellness providers with different corporate wellness programs as well as luxury high-rise buildings. We also have a business accelerator, which helps small health and wellness companies or individuals that are looking to get started with their own business, giving them the tools to build their business the way that they want to, but have it sound and have the structure sound. We also are launching a new autism program in July, and we're really excited about that. My background is in business. I grew up with a mother who is a clinician. She actually works for me. I bought her clinics a couple of years ago. I've been around social work and the psychology field for about 30 years now, and thought I could get away from it, and fell right back into it. Found out that I did actually really love it, and wanted to use my unique skills as a business person to really help her business accelerate, but then also help others accelerate. I've now trained about 29 different clinicians in the psychology field, in private practice, in group practice, as well as major addiction centers. I've worked with a couple addiction centers in Malibu, so Promises, as well as a couple that I cannot name, but still very, very well known. I've helped different neurofeedback providers. I've helped chiropractors, massage therapists all start their businesses. I'm excited to be here today, and I just wanted to address a little bit about how to start and build your private practice. This is a very big overview of starting your practice. It's not going to be too technical today. It's mainly where to start and how to start thinking about this if it's something that you're interested in. And so I'd like to start with expectations. So a lot of people go into agency work right after they graduate, and everybody that I've talked to, all the clinicians that I have, and I have 18 clinicians currently, all started out in agency work. It's fantastic clinical experience. It's free professional development. It's great peer consultation. You get administrative supervision. You get to learn a little bit of the billing, a little bit of the marketing. If you're interested, they are, from what I hear, are very happy to explain and kind of guide you along the way there. You also get clinical supervision. And one of the things that we've found in talking with our clinicians, private practice is a much more specific clientele, where the agency is a much more general. You get to see everybody in the public, and just when you think you've seen everything, you see something else. In private practice, it really builds off of those skills. You can really hone those skills with that. You can also gain all kinds of community resources. You're in the community, you're working with the community, which is a fantastic way to then build future relationships. You get your name out there, you start building relationships in your agency or your organization, as well as all kinds of other organizations that you may partner with through that organization. Private practice is a little bit different. It's a wonderful thing. It is a little bit of a shift in the mindset. And we'll talk about mindset here in a minute, but you get a lot more autonomy. Boss, make your own hours. No one's really telling you where you should be, where you shouldn't be, how long you have to work. But you are a lot more accountable. With that, you're in charge of everything. You get to do the billing. You get to do the marketing. You're finding clients. You are managing, if it's a group practice and it's your group practice, you're managing other clinicians. You're supervising. You're finding other people to collaborate with. You get to do everything. But you can be more creative. It's yours. You get to go out there and work on it, build it the way you want to. You get to create the atmosphere, use the swift decision-making. You don't have to go through a bureaucracy anymore. There's nobody above you when you have your own private practice telling you that you can or can't do something. Now, you do need to understand the ethical implications and the legal implications. If you are going to start your own private practice, it does hinder some creativity. You just need to make sure that you are paying attention to those laws and those guidelines as well. You can earn a higher salary. A lot of times you get to get both private pay as well as insurance reimbursement, and they're very difficult to navigate, and a lot of people are very unfamiliar with the way the insurance reimburses. However, there are resources out there to really help you be a guide through that, to navigate that, and to help you work through billing, insurance, the reimbursement process. And that's one of the things that I really want people to understand is there are resources out there. You don't have to do this alone. And this is just one resource. This is one kind of launch pad. But there are plenty of other resources that I encourage you to research and try to find whatever's going to be good for you and whatever's going to help you in whatever way it can build your own private practice. You also get to build relationships with providers in other fields. One of the biggest things that we do in our clinic is we work with other kinds of wellness practitioners to best serve our clients. In an agency, you work with people in that agency, which is a wonderful thing, but you can't be as creative and you can't go outside and say, well, my client's suffering from this. Maybe having an acupuncturist or having a health coach come in and collaborate on this, maybe that would be a good idea. Private practice allows you to do that sort of thing as well, so you can really think outside the box and build your own company, you build your own practice, however you see fit. There are two different kinds of private practice. There's a solo practice and a group practice. In the solo practice, that means that you're by yourself. You either are renting space somewhere from another group practice, or you're your own person in your own office. But you get complete control. That means that you get to make every decision. You don't have to consort with anybody else. Client referrals, you're front facing to the client. The client, if they like you, they'll tell their family, they'll tell their friends. It's a great way to get referrals. In a group practice, it's a little bit different. You might get more referrals from other different sources, but this is a very direct, very one-on-one relationship with your clients that can really lead to some very good referrals. Again, you get the autonomy to be your own boss, to make your own hours. Not to say that you can't do that in your group practice, but you get to dictate all of that. You're not trying to negotiate with your group saying, well, I need the office at this time, or I need it at this time, but if somebody else has booked it. You get to make your own hours. That's it. You don't have anybody to try to have any scheduling conflicts with. And you also get to control your work environment. When I say control your work environment, I mean you get to set the tone of the office. If you want it bright and vibrant, you can do that. If you want it neutral, you can do that. If you want to have a waterfall, if you want to make it so that you have a giant library available to your clients, you can do that. In a group practice, that's also available, but whenever you're doing your own practice, you get to dictate all of that, and it's wonderful to have that control if you really want it. And there's no income splitting, and I don't mean that you have, whenever you get paid by the insurance or you get paid by private pay, you just split it with everybody in the group practice. That's not what I mean at all. But you don't have to split and say, okay, now I have to pay this biller that we're using, or we're paying a marketing service. You get to decide where that money goes. You don't have to put it into a fund, or you don't have to pay somebody that you don't necessarily think is going to be the biggest benefit or the best use of your money. Now, group practice offers a lot of benefits as well. The economies of scale. And when I say economies of scale, I don't mean anything crazy. I mean, you get to consolidate your admin and your management functions. That means you've got lower overhead. So instead of paying $10 for a biller per claim, you can maybe pay $2 because you have a lot of people contributing to that fund. You also have combined interests. That's a fantastic thing. If you ever need to collaborate with somebody, or if you're just not quite sure how to work through a client issue, it's easy to say, can you help me out here? I've got this client, this is what it is presenting. I should like some guidance here. Have you ever seen anything like this? It's new to me, or I've not worked with this very in depth. Can you help out? And you have an automatic resource within your own office. You also have multiple talents. Maybe you want to work with children, or maybe you want to work with adults. You might be able to partner with somebody that wants to work with the opposite, or that isn't general. And that's a great, get referrals back and forth there. Instead of you having to go out there and research and try to find all the different people that you want to work with, you can use that group. And if somebody approaches your partner and says, well, I'd really like to come in, and your partner says, well, I only see children, but my other partner is fantastic, and they would love to see you. It's a great way to share those resources. You also have greater market access, meaning you get to meet different people through different client connections, through different community connections, and that sort of thing. It's a great way to reach people that you may not be able to reach on an individual basis. You also have pooled capital. That means that you have more money to do the things that you want to do. It gives you access to tools that may be cost prohibitive if you are an individual. So if there's a new technology that you want to use, or if you want to use a billing system that is cloud-based or software-based that's a little cost prohibitive, you can do that a little bit easier with a group practice because you're pooling your resources. You also may be able to get a better space, a more prominent space, someplace that is it's got a bigger waiting room, that sort of thing, so that you can really accommodate your clients. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen every time, but it does help in the long run getting you to pool your resources, accessing more, and really building the office that you want. You also are sharing some risk. There's a greater flexibility to share that clinical risk and the financial risk. So if you go in and you're doing a solo practice, you bear all the risk, financially and clinically. If you are in a group practice, you get to share that financial risk. So if one person's not carrying their weight, or if you're not able to make that rent, you can say, hey, maybe I can borrow money from my partner, they can pay a bigger share, I'll pay a bigger share next month. It's also with marketing. Does this work? If it's a little less of a burden if you try to do a marketing program and you don't have to pay for the entire thing up front. You can split it among everybody. And when I say clinical risk, that just means that if it's not a good fit for you, you can maybe pass them off to your partner, or you can do some sort of consultation where they can help guide you so that you're not offending a client, or if a client just doesn't mesh with you. It's an easy way to say, look, I know that we're not working out, but I do have this partner that could definitely help. You also get enhanced peer consultation. You can share your clinical experiences. A lot of times it's nice just to say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what just happened in that session. And it's nice to have somebody else that you can talk to. And that is, from our group practice, one of the best benefits of having everybody in the same room, everybody understanding, what somebody else is going through, and helping them navigate through it. A lot of times with psychology, you're getting laid into some pretty heavy stuff. And it's hard to navigate that. Even though you've been trained, it's hard to navigate that on your own. And having a support system in the office is a great thing. Private practice requires a very different mindset and a very different skill set than agency work. Your mindset is really, how can I stand out? I did a cursory search in Lincoln Park on Psychology Today, which is a big therapist locator. 218 clinicians were listed in the 60614 area code. That was it. But that was a lot. 218, and that's one area of Chicago. I was blown away when I saw that. And a lot of clinicians that come to work for us and I consulted with say, well, I'm in insurance. Shouldn't that give me referrals? Well, absolutely. It'll give you one a year. If you have 218 people that you're fighting against and saying, well, insurance, send them over here to me. That's not going to happen if you have to divide it between the 218. And then that's not even the city of Chicago. That's Lincoln Park. So what you need to do is find out how to set yourself apart and believe that and really say, okay, this is what I can do to stand out. This is what I'm going to do to work towards standing out. Private practice isn't really for those who are idle or expecting clients just to appear. It's a much more proactive. You want to get your face out there. You want to talk to people because it is a reality of private practice to market yourself and to really get out there and discuss different things, discuss your specialties or your interests, and it can really, really benefit you by creating other opportunities that you may not have seen. Private practice involves pitching to others in your field and other fields. You have to be passionate about what you do. When you're passionate about something, that really shines through, and people will want to work with you. We've seen that on a daily basis, where one of our clinicians is very passionate about the cause that they're working toward, and other people start to cling to that, and they want to work with that person because they are passionate, and that shows. With that passion, you also have to be knowledgeable. Being knowledgeable means not just about working with the different things that you're working with, the different specialties, the different issues, but also being knowledgeable about how to connect those dots. If your client says, I'm not ready to come in yet, or a potential client says, I'm not ready to come in yet, how are you knowledgeable about getting that person to start to come in or start to explore coming in? There's a lot of different aspects of creating a private practice, but the two things that are really going to help you are being passionate and being knowledgeable. Those two are going to help you navigate through quite a lot. And if you're passionate, if people are seeing that, hey, this person really wants to work, really wants to help people, you're going to find it a lot easier to ask for help and people willing to help you along the way. So if you don't know an ethical issue, you're navigating through that, or a legal issue, or you're not sure how you want to structure something, people that are passionate get help a lot easier than those people that are just kind of going through the motion. So the big thing that a lot of people are stuck on coming from agency work to private practice is money. So I want to ask you, what does money mean to you? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it just a thing? And why do you feel that way? Unfortunately, social work really is an underpaid field. It's a reality. It's something that's not changing anytime soon. And it's a tragedy because, in my opinion, you really are doing a huge service to a lot of people. To me, it's on the same level as a heart surgeon, as a general practitioner, somebody that's helping save a life. Even though it's not a physical thing, you're not performing surgery, you're performing surgery of the mind. And that is a huge thing. And when you're looking at starting your own private practice, you have to understand that that's what I'm valuable for. And that, no, I don't need to accept $20. I don't need to accept $5. You are actually providing a fantastic service. You're helping people. If you have a problem and you can find someone that you know can help you, is how much money they charge always the biggest concern? Absolutely not. If you believe that person can help you with your problem, you will probably go to them and you'll probably work with them, and the same thing applies to you. There's no reason that you shouldn't be just as valuable. People want to be out of pain, and if you can help them, that's a fantastic thing, and you should be able to charge for that. There are plenty of organizations in the city, in rural areas, at the state level, and at the federal level that work with families, work with individuals that cannot afford to come out of pocket for this sort of thing. That's not what private practice is about. With private practice, one of the things that I talk to my clinicians about is if you're making a private practice salary, and if you're charging $100 an hour, $150 an hour, or $75 an hour, that's okay, because that's going to allow you to work less hours, and then you can go and volunteer with those organizations that are where you want to work with and that cannot afford your services. That doesn't mean that you need to sacrifice. If you're poor and starving, how can you help those that are poor and starving? Every interview I do in hiring someone or even in consulting with them, I ask this question: what are you worth? I get all kinds of different answers. Well, I don't know. Well, that's not an answer. You can't say, I don't know. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what you're actually worth. Does that mean, are you worth $100 million as a person? Absolutely. But this is more of a, what are you worth when you're practicing your profession? Are you worth $10 an hour? Are you worth $5 an hour? Are you worth $1,000 an hour? What can the market handle? You know, if you say, oh, I'm a $1,000 an hour professional, that's great. But are you going to get people to pay that? Probably not. But if you do, if you're a $20 an hour person, if that's all you think that you're worth, that's fine. But you're going to get people that treat it as a $20 an hour profession, where they can skip appointments, they can cancel last minute. Well, it's $20. That's okay. I've got that in my back pocket right now. Now, if you value yourself a little bit higher and say, I'm a $100 person, I'm $150. That's a little bit harder to swallow than if somebody cancels. And they're going to value that. They're going to value you and say, well, this person thinks that they're worth it. I probably should think that they're worth it. And in private practice, you have to consider that when you're designing your own practice, because what you're doing is you're showing your clients, who are your customers, that you are valuable. And that's a very important aspect of private practice as well, because when you show that you're not valuable, your clientele isn't going to believe that your therapy or that your clinical skills are valuable. They're going to treat you as a cut-rate therapist, clinician, psychologist, psychiatrist. I don't want anybody to undervalue themselves, and that's why I ask this question. So whenever you are designing your practice, please think about what you're worth, why you're worth that, and it'll help you think about everything a little bit differently. It'll help you structure your practice that way, and it'll help you understand that, hey, I am worth this. I touched on this a little bit, but I want you to value your contribution as much as other professionals. You can't help the poor and starving if you are poor and starving. That doesn't mean that you can't help them if you value yourself, if you really want to push forward and say, look, I'm going to set this rate, I'll work 20 hours a week, and then I get 20 hours that I would have been working at an agency that I can go volunteer, that I can do whatever I want with, or 40 hours. I mean, some of us are working 60 hours at an agency. You can really free up that time. But then you can really go out there and say, I'm worth it, but I can still get back. I can take, because I know that there are other agencies, I know that there are other organizations out there that can help these people. You're helping people feel better. That's valuable. I know that anytime I don't feel 100%, I'm willing to really give somebody anything to make me feel 100%. If I have the flu, there's no amount of money that I would pay for some sort of cure. I don't want to be down for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. That's what you have to think about as well. People are willing to pay for that help that they see as valuable. But you're also putting money back in the economy. I saw a stat a couple weeks ago that $20 billion was lost last year to anxiety and depression. $20 billion. Because people had to take off work for extended periods of time. They just called in for a mental health day. You're putting money back in the economy when you can help them go to work and when you can help them feel better at work. That's one of the things that is shocking to me, but it's even more shocking to the people that I've been working with and the people that I've been consulting with, because they have no idea. They don't think of it that way, that, oh, well, I can charge that because they're actually going to be making more money by feeling better. And that's one of the things that just really resonated with me. I used to work in the corporate arena, and I saw that on a daily basis. People not performing at the rate that they should have because they just didn't feel like it. They were dragging around. They were depressed. They were anxious. Well, my boss is going to get upset with me because I didn't get this done, but I didn't get this done because I don't feel very well, because I'm just overworked. That's where you guys come in. That's where you can really make a difference and put that money back in the economy by helping them feel better. One of the things that agency work does, and I know I just touched on this a little bit, but it does make it accessible for those that can't afford these services. But who's serving the wealthier clients? Who's serving the middle class? Who's serving the wealthier class that can't afford to do this? And a lot of times they're going to make the best clients because they want to feel better. And there's no state agency out there saying, you guys make over $100,000 a year, we'll take care of you, come over here. You know, it just doesn't happen. But who's helping those people? Who's giving those people the education and the resources to help themselves? That's what private practice can do. Marketing kind of wraps everything into, everything you do is marketing when you're doing private practice. Everything falls into marketing, but I don't want you to treat it like a traditional marketing. It's not the used car salesman. It's not, hey, come over here, I've got a great deal for you. But what it does do is it helps you get your name out there. It helps you do a service to your community because it tells them, look, I'm not a secret. I'm here to help you. And going through school, going through everything that you've gone through up to now, what you will be going through in the social work world, in the psychology world, you did that because you want to help people. That's the main goal of going into this field. You're doing a disservice if you're not telling people, I'm here to help. If you're not approaching people, the community, and I don't mean individuals, I don't mean go up to somebody in the street and say, hey, I'm a clinician, I can help you. But if you're not telling people, I'm here to help. You know, whatever you need help with, I can help you. I can point you in the right direction, I can guide you, I can coach you, whatever you need. You're not marketing yourself, you're not even marketing your practice. And there's a very big distinction between what we think marketing is and what marketing is in this world. You're creating awareness. You know, if you are going and working with Erasing the Distance. It's anti-stigma. That's marketing. What they're doing is marketing, but it's not viewed as marketing. But that's exactly what it is. It's awareness. It's education. It's letting people know, hey, we exist. Pay attention to us. That's what you're doing. And if you start to look at it that way, it's a very different connotation than if you're looking at a car salesman saying, hey, I've got this great deal, come on over. That's not what we want to do. It's a service. Keep it up with a service. You know, that's what you're trying to promote. I want to help you. Which leads me into the biggest point that I want you to take away from the marketing side. You don't need to sell yourself. Do not sell yourself. That's not what people want to see. They want to see that you're passionate. But you want to come from your natural, how can I help you place? And that's exactly what you guys want to do. That's exactly what everybody in the social work, psychology, health, wellness world wants to do. How can I help? I've been trained to help. How do I do it? You know, this might be going into a doctor's office and saying, hey, I'm new in town. I want to talk to you. What is it that you need? You know, what have you been looking for? Because if you go in there and say, hi, I'm new in town, send me referrals, well, everybody's going to see that. And everybody's going to say, well, I just had 10 more people like you in here this week. I'm not going to send you referrals. I don't know you. But if you say, you know, how's the office going? Is there anything that you need help with in the office? The doc might say, you know, I've had a really bad communication issue with my staff lately. I don't know what's happening. And if you start to create a relationship with the doctor that way, then coming from the how can I help? What can I do for you? How can I serve you? You're going to start building those relationships that are only going to reinforce your infrastructure for your practice. And what it's going to do is help you create those relationships that are going to be very fruitful and lead to a lot of fun, good relationships that can really help you build that practice of your dreams. And none of that's marketing. You don't have to think of that as marketing. It's not advertising. It's relationship building. You're doing the exact same thing in your session as you are when you're marketing. What can I do? How can I help? Your marketing efforts are intended to help people get to know you, get to like you, and get to trust you. That's very important in the clinical world. You don't have good relationships with clients if they can't trust you, if they can't like you, or if they don't know you. That's marketing now. This all is marketing, and it doesn't sound like marketing. It doesn't sound like, okay, well, I need to go out there and I have to create a brand for myself, and I need to go out there and I need to put billboards of my face up there. I need to put my name on every park bench and sponsor all of these things. That's not what I'm saying. I want you to differentiate between that kind of marketing and this kind of marketing, where you're doing the service, where you're letting people, educating people, telling them, I'm here. Let me know what you need. This is the hardest piece for all clinicians, in my experience, because they don't want to come across as false. They don't want to come across as somebody that's just trying to get people in the door because they're money hungry. That's not the case at all. This is the way to build relationships. In marketing and letting people know that you exist, you can build client relationships, you can build clinical relationships, you can build, if you need billing, or if you need legal help, or if you need anything, you're letting everybody know, and that's going to lead to more and more relationships that you can count on in the long run. But that's marketing. It's not the traditional marketing. I cannot stress that enough. It's scary. It's foreign, and that's okay. There are plenty of resources for marketing as well. I really encourage everybody to look into those. There's a fantastic book by Casey Truffaut, How to Be a Wealthy Therapist. It touches on a lot of this sort of thing. I've read it. I've had all my clinicians read it, and it really helps differentiate business from therapy or from the clinical skills that go into that. And I'm not up here as a clinician. I'm up here as an outside party looking in at the clinicians and seeing the struggles that they've had and wanting to help. I've been in the world for a very long time, and I've got a different perspective. And what I've been able to help with and guide with has really given a lot of people the strength and allow them to overcome the fear of opening up their own practice. I'm not a savior. I'm not the perfect guru for this. All I can do is try to get you to explore those resources, reach out, talk to people, talk to anybody in your community that's done this before, that is interested in either partnering, or we all like to be asked for help. You know, I mean, we all like to impart our wisdom. Talk to different professionals. So if there's a chiropractor that you know, or a massage therapist, or a health coach, or a doctor, talk to them. See what their struggles were. See how they've overcome those struggles. There's a lot of people out there that want to help. We just have to go out there and ask for that help. And at that, I'm done. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I'll see if there's anything online first.
Oh, no.
I thought I had one, but I can't remember what it was. It's fun.
That's okay.
Are there anything that you've seen folks do really well? Any trends that you're seeing in terms of whether I don't know. I know you've talked a little bit about some technology, but is there anything that's been effective or helpful for clinicians?
Collaborating, actually, has been the biggest trend / benefit that I've seen. So not only collaborating with other mental health professionals, but other wellness and other other health professionals that not only can help you navigate these issues, but can also be great referral sources and helps you create programs. So for instance, I've got a clinician right now that's partnering with a couple other organizations, and what they're doing is they're creating a corporate wellness program that's allowing them to access a market that they never would have gotten into otherwise. We've got another clinician that's helping design a panel to navigate the different issues in health and wellness and even explain what the different health and wellness modalities are. A lot of us have heard of acupuncture, but we don't really know what it does. We've heard of holistic dentists or massage therapy or anything else like that. And so what they've done is they've collaborated. They're going to hold a panel talking to different clinicians in the different wellness modalities, just explaining what they do. That sort of thing builds deep relationships, and it's a great way to better serve your client because you have now more tools in your toolbox to say, okay, I've taken you so far, I think you can do better if you add on this, and vice versa. A lot of people are still scared of mental health. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to admit that they have any issues. But if they have a trusted wellness advisor, so if they have a trusted massage therapist or chiropractor and they're familiar with what you're doing, they can start to break that barrier down and say, okay, well, I think it would be beneficial if you talk to one of these people. I've got a great person I can refer you to. They deal with this sort of issue, and just go talk to them. So that's a trend that I've seen, and I hope it continues, and I hope that it blossoms even more because that collaboration, I think, is going to be key to being successful, especially in the digital age where everything is at your fingertips. So you have to have resources because people Google everything now. And having the different resources saying, okay, well, I Googled this and then I think I've got this. Okay, great. Let's bring in somebody else that may be able to help you navigate some of that. And your clients are going to be better served that way. So that collaboration is key.
I have a question here online. What do you suggest in terms of staying clear of the pitfall of soliciting clients and yet still effectively marketing your private practice, i.e. following your profession's ethics code of not soliciting clients but still effectively building your practice?
It's a great question. And while it's gray, it's a fairly simple answer. With that, you can, again, educate. Tell people that you're there. Give them the resources. Make resources available. If you have a website, put resources on there. Put a 10-step anxiety reducer or easy ways to meditate during the day. create some sort of relationship, a digital relationship or a community relationship that says, hey, here I am, here's some resources for you, and that helps educate. Because you can't go out there and say, hey, here's who I am, come to me and see me. It's not ethical. But what you can do is, hey, here I am. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Great.
Do you have any insight? I'm just curious about LinkedIn. I know over the years people have had varying feelings about something like LinkedIn, but what's your take? Are you seeing more individuals using LinkedIn?
I am seeing more individuals use LinkedIn. It can get very precarious, though, when it comes to clients. And I've actually had to help one of our clinicians navigate this. It was a Facebook incident, but LinkedIn was also in question, as was Twitter. You know, I've got a client that wanted to friend me on Facebook. Can I do that? And it's that you can do that. However, there are so many ethical issues that it's just easier to say thanks, but no thanks. Right. And the policy that we've instituted is social media is out. Nobody can friend. There's no connections on LinkedIn. Don't follow them on Twitter. If they follow you, fine. That's what you have Twitter for. But try to draw a very, very dark line in between that and say, here's where you are, here's where I am. We have to keep it professional. And it's very easy to blur that with everything at your fingertips these days. You've got all these different social medias that they might comment on and like. That's okay. You can't avoid that. Just don't engage. You know, don't say, oh, thanks for that. That was great. You know, love that you love my comment. Just don't. Just keep it very professional. And with LinkedIn, it's a great way to find other people that are interested in what you are interested in clinically. But it's a great way to meet other people outside of the mental health field as well. We use it a lot to find people. We'll keyword searches. Who else is interested in mindfulness? Well, let's try to reach out to them and see if we can make a connection. Who else is interested in this organization that we're working with already? Is there an easy in there so that we can contact them and say, hey, I'm really interested in partnering with your organization. Can you guide me in the right direction? It's a great resource for that, as long as you keep it professional.
Question online. What was the title of the book and author you mentioned again?
Casey Truffo, Truffo, I believe. It's How to Be a Wealthy Therapist. And I have no affiliation with her, so I just wanted to clarify that. But I've recommended it to not only clinicians in the mental health field, but other clinicians as well, because it does provide some great insight.
Great. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
That was really great. We will upload the question online as well.